Hey, this is Chris with Rekkid Talk. So I'm entering another contest. I thought I'd caught up, didn't have any more contests to do, and people are doing contests again. So I did Rachel's Ghost Comeback one recently. This one was for Robert's on my turntable. And so Robert wants to celebrate the number 1000. So the idea is to show albums that spell out the word thousand. So let's get it rolling. The letter T. I'm going to show you 10,000 Maniacs, Blind Man's Zoo. 10,000 Maniacs, Blind Man's Zoo. I'm going to use this as my thumbnail, so I'm trying to figure out the best shot. So, of course, the word 10,000 begins with the letter T. Thousands are involved in it. Maybe I should have saved it for the future, but I didn't. So you got Natalie Merchant and Gang, Elektra Records, custom label there with an elephant on it. This came out late 80s, 1989. Yeah, that would be late 80s. Letter H. So there's always another girl by Juliana Hatfield. And so you can see she has tattooed her arm, Juliana Hatfield. So this was from 2011. This was the part of her career where she was basically self-releasing albums on her Ye Olde Records label with Pledge Music. And so I got the signed CD. There's actually a vinyl version of this that I could have gotten then, but I wasn't doing vinyl in 2011, so I didn't. And that was a mistake because it's extremely rare and expensive when it comes up for sale. And of course, a very limited run, and they all ended up in the hands of huge Juliana Hatfield fans. And so, those of you that are regular watchers of the channel going, why is he talking about Juliana Hatfield again? Because there is a song on this record called Thousands of Guitars. It's the very last track, track 14. It's actually a pretty cool song. I'm not going to claim it's like one of her all-time best songs, but it's pretty cool. I know Bruce Springsteen had a song recently that was like House of 1,000 Guitars or something like that on one of his recent records. So there's your letter H for you with some thousands content. The letter O, I'm going to show the oscillations. I Can See It Coming. And so this was one of the records from the Zamrock box set. So, of course, this is one of the more obscure. I mean, let's face it. I mean, everything at Zamrock is obscure. I'm pretending like, oh, everybody knows Witch and Ngazi Family by now. So, there you go. Of course, it's a repress. And so the letter O. And also, the very first song on the record, which is called Request to God, basically starts with a 4-minute long guitar solo. Victor Kunda Kasomo just playing some whacked out fuzzy guitar for 4 minutes before we get into some lyrics. And you thought Ole John Roth in Sales of Sharon started the song with a long ass guitar solo. Yeah, it got him beat. So that's your letter O. Your letter U. Since I'm sure lots of people are going to show U2 albums, and I have U2 albums, I'm like, do I have something on vinyl that begins with letter U that's not U2? And I do. I have The Umbrellas. So this is a cool indie pop record from 2021. I like Coke Bottle Green vinyl. I've got it on Coke Brown Green vinyl. Slumberland Records. Very, very jingle poppy. Where are we at? So that was, letter S. So this will be the second and final CD I'll show. This is Sonic Youth, 1,000 Leaves. So you can see why I picked it, 1,000 Leaves. And so apparently they were going to call it Mille Filil, which is like a French pastry that literally translates to 1,000 sheets. This is from like 1998. This is pretty obscure part of the Sonic Youth discography. I wouldn't say it's something I honestly listen to very much. The letter A, AC/DC, Back in Black. Maybe you can see the AC/DC there. And so I'm showing this because thousands of us have The first cube in our record collection starts with ABBA, then has AC/DC second, and I'm one of those thousands of people. The letter N, 9 Inch Nails, Pretty Hate Machine. I'm only showing this because this is something I picked up really recently on vinyl for the first time. I've had it on CD since it came out in, I believe, 89 or 90. I was definitely an undergraduate when this came out, 1989. So there you go. And then finally the letter D. So we'll end it with a band that I know is one of Robert's favorite bands, Deep Purple. But I'm not going to show the sort of album most people would show. Most people would show In Rock, or they would show Machine Head, or maybe they would show a Mark III album like Bird, or maybe they would show Perfect Strangers, or those of you that are still buying Deep Purple albums. I have to admit I only have a handful of the classics. But for some reason, I have Deep Purple, the Royal Philharmonic Orchestra, conducted by Malcolm Arnold, the weird Deep Purple with Symphony album from 1969, I believe. And this was basically, I think it basically was the Mark II lineup, but this was before In Rock came out. Because I know Ian is singing by now, so I think Rod Evans and Nick Simper are both gone. Composed by John Lord. Maybe I should look to see if they tell me any more of those details that I'm trying to make up along the way. So we've got John Lord organist, Richie Blackmore, Ian Pace, Roger Glover, Ian Gillan. Okay, yeah, so, and it does say 1970 on it, although I believe this was recorded, I believe it was recorded in late 1969. They're not actually giving a date for when this was recorded, but it is the Mark II lineup. And so there you go, Robert. It's on my turntable. 1,000 cheers.